Peace, righteous family. This video is going to be on a difficult topic, but it's one we can't ignore. It's one we got to deal with. And that's why are black people under attack? And not just by the police. If you know about the situation with Ahmaud Arbery, you know that those was white civilians. Those was white citizens. Some of them was former police or whatever, but they was all in it together. They had a Facebook group where as a community, together, they plotted on killing this man and made it happen. And the police continuously, Robert Floyd, may he be remembered in power, but then we can go down the line, and there were several others within the past few weeks that also is in similar situations, unarmed men being shot down, women and children going through experience they shouldn't have to go through. Like, why? Why? Okay, so let's start with why. The first thing that you got to deal with in this why is you got to go to the origin of where all this come from. Where these vigilante groups and these citizens patrol and neighborhood watch and the local police, where does all that come from? All right, so if you go back to the history of it, the police really started out as slave catchers. Like, that's the original motherfucking police. That's why KRS said that the overseer became an officer. And the mentality was transferred because that the poor whites that was willing to be brutal for an opportunity to eat at the table with master, those wasn't good-hearted people. Those was degraded people that had lost a lot of their own humanity, and they were willing to take on any job. Those are the same kind that act as mercenaries. Those are the same kind that even after a tour of duty and seeing unfathomable carnage and devastation upon civilians, you know, as you can know if you're looking at any of the leaks that's coming out, like shout out to all those that's making sure the information is being broadcast. We're going to get to that because we're going to talk about Minneapolis being on fire in a second, right? And why. And we're going to talk about the fire that's in everybody, all original people, man, because if you got any connection to your ancestry, you know that we all come from black. So I don't care how far removed you are from it, man. If you got any sense of humanity, then you know that the people that's at the bottom shouldn't be at the bottom. The people that's being targeted for destruction, for what? Why? What country have black people gone and invaded? What weapons deals have they done? You know what I mean? I'm talking about go to Africa. They was striving to bring African nations together, and African leaders like Thomas Sankara and all them was killed for that. And shout out to Gaddafi. For them, you know, they was killed for trying to bring people together, to try to bring their countries to a better way of living. But they never went to war with nobody. They never went and invaded nobody. And even if you go back in history, that just ain't the way of black people. Black people is like in a fucking global diaspora spread out with all different types of culture and languages and community ethics and all that. But there's so many fucking traditional values. Like, everybody got drums and hot sauce. Everybody, all original people. That's how you can tell we original and we indigenous, because it's in our genes, we connected. You know what I mean? You go back deep enough, you're going to find your roots, you're going to find your drums, you're going to find your hot peppers, your hot food, and everybody. And guess who don't got it? Motherfuckers that just got fucking flutes and mayonnaise. You goddamn it right. It's terrible for them. You know what I mean? They feel like they done lost a lot of shit, man. But the main thing they lost was empathy. Empathy. Caring for others. See, when people watch these videos, when we watch these videos, we feel so strong. That's why it's dangerous to watch these videos. You need to watch one and you're done, because all they need to do is wake you up to who the devil is and wake you up to the wickedness and evil in the world. And if you go back to sleep, you're going to have to watch a few more. You're going to have to keep on being exposed to the actions of what devil really do before you confront the reality of it. And you got to realize there's even a chance for them, because they could sure prove themselves to be righteous if they would choose to. They could stand up against their own. Don't get it twisted. There was good people out there protesting too, some of the white ones, but a lot of the white people that was mixed in with the protesters was actually stabbing black people in the Walmart, in the Target. And the AutoZone that was set on fire, that was actually set on fire by a police officer named Jacob something. You could look it up, because all this, the people is now the news. So CNN could say, oh yeah, the people set fire to this. No, the police set fire to their own precinct, to their own, to buildings throughout the country. They even possibly fucking set the gas lines on fire or sever them somehow. Like, that's the level of fuckery going on. And so that's why when people say this was set up and this was staged, this was something they wanted to do when Nipsey got killed. They was hoping LA was going to erupt like this. That's why they had the National Guard and the military doing drills, practicing out there. So they looking for a reason to bring in the National Guard and do military mobilization, and then go from what is a quarantine style lockdown to actual martial law type curfews and shit like that. If you watch The Spook Who Sat by the Door, you know what I mean, or you got some context. There's all kinds of films, including the shit that's online right now. All the shit that's trending right now is going to give you a little lens into the alternate realities of what could be happening right here, right now. But it's meant to show you the protagonist, the hero in all these films is meant to give you a lens into who you could be. Now, you may not have a caravan full of people and you taking them out the zombie apocalypse, but in a way you kind of are. If you leading your tribe, your family, and you showing them a better way and you showing them how to be healthy. So, for example, man, you might take your family to a protest thing and that you about to get out your frustration and voice your standing, and that's good to not sit in the house and stay at home. But then you might get in the mix of real fricassee and some wild shit that you wasn't ready for. This is why usually when the people with knowledge of self go out there and the warriors go out there, we not going out there to start no shit. In fact, the warriors and soldiers of the world, the real ones that already got their tribes and their troops, they know most of our job is going to be to keep the peace amongst the people that don't know how to handle themselves. We're going to be responsible for dealing with wild people, and like the officer, they stopped him. They stopped him, and then he could threaten all of them, but they was able to get him on film, and then his wife ID'd him. That's the power of the internet, and that's the power of the truth, because the truth is going to come out in people. It don't matter what you born into, because you're going to eventually realize that shit is like a gang. What the fuck is white? It's like a gang. How the fuck do an Irishman and Italian feel like they got something in common? Based on what? No, just because they white, and they both had to buy into the white gang. They both had to get jumped in. Who came in first? Was the Irish, or was it the Italians? You know, the Polish people came way later because they were still making jokes about y'all to the 80s. So I had a Polish white supremacist hit me up one day. I said, "You a whole dummy. What did they used to call you? A Polak? And now you with the gang?" See, I went to high school. I know how that shit is. That's clown shit. You joining the gang because now they let you in. Now you want to have a little taste of power. But you got to realize it's still a pecking order, and who's at the top? The 1%. And they don't let you in none of their parties unless they're going to catch you with some motherfucking evidence of doing some sick and terrible shit. And let some of our dumbasses come to them parties too if you want to go up that high and be with them type of people. But I chose a long time ago who I want to party with, and it's only the righteous. I don't want to be in no other shit. That shit dirty and disgusting. So I used to go to the protests and the marches and things like that. I realized a lot of people are just doing it to get their anger and their frustration out, but they're not moving strategically. They're not moving like decisively. So then it requires people that do know how to move strategically to have to make sure they don't hurt themselves or hurt anybody else, or turn this shit into a motherfucking shit show. So shout out to the organizers, the mediators, the righteous people, righteous gang. You know, we don't have no uniforms, you know. We just got heart. And we have a culture that's within us. Again, it's in our genes. And these values is in our genes. We got more than drums and hot sauce. We got values because we have empathy. So we learn how to see others as ourselves. If you go to India, they say namaste. That means I see the you and me. I see the God in you and me. You know? And when you say Ubuntu in from the South African languages, like same thing. So we recognize in each other ourselves. We all just ourselves having different experience. That's why we can say at the source God is one. Because even with all these different lenses and perspective, man, we got to come to a foundational kind of like a unity, right? And there's a unity when we all think it's one. The only thing greater than you as an individual is us as a collective. Keep in mind that you know, there is no we without you. So when we talk about what is we doing, well, there ain't no we that's failing, at least not my we. My we is winning. You know, I teach my we how to hustle and win. I make sure my we got knowledge of self. My we got no hood health so they can stay healthy and be able to endure and sustain and live. And mental and emotional health is key too, because you got to know what to do with your anger. You got to know how to vent it out. You got to know when you need to go spar. You got to know when you got to go hit the, man, you can hit the weights, but you could also go dig in your yard too. You could also go do some actual physical building and haul some cinder blocks and build something, build you a structure. You can dig out the ground and build your underground structure like them boys be doing on them primitive builder channels, man. Shit'll inspire you till you realize there's a whole bunch of motherfucking roots and rocks in your dirt. But, you know, that's what we got Bobcats for, man. You know, you can rent your Bobcat out of Home Depot for less than $100. Shit, be Bob the Builder, man. You know, you want to do that shit since you was a kid, now you can. Got your driver's license, I think that's all you need. Don't let me lie to you. You got to find out for yourself, man. That's all I teach, man, to get the knowledge of yourself. Because otherwise you're going to be easily led in the wrong direction. You're going to be led feeling so emotional, either through fear or through anger, that you're going to be driven in the direction of doing something that don't benefit you or your tribe. So you got to remember that it's all about what you're building your tribe into and where you're taking them, because you got a family that's your tribe, even if you don't got people you count on. But you really do got people you count if you start thinking about your network. So it's time to make that shit work. You know what I mean? Like, we got to start thinking about the community we're creating for the hereafter, because this world is already looking like it's falling apart. If you don't see it falling apart, man, you know what I mean? You ain't seen the writing on the wall yet. And again, more and more things are gonna be shown to you until you can see it, because you are the protagonist of your grand epic. You are the hero of the story. You that person, you that woman, you that man. And you gotta figure out what you're gonna do. You gotta have your own voice. You gotta have your own mind. That's why I encourage people to study. I tell people, don't just read my books. Read the books that I recommend in the books. Read the sources of my books. Read Francis Cress Welsing, and read Naeem Akbar, and read Bobby Wright, and read people that was breaking the stuff down way back in the day. Who wrote the book, Behold a Pale Horse? William Cooper, man. May he be remembered in power, man. He gave his life to motherfucker trying to show the people what it really was. And it was a whole lot of others too. It's a whole lot of others, man, that you know, they didn't give their lives in vain, because the reason why we say their names is to remember what it taught us. So whatever their name was, it's like, what did it teach you? And that's how we honor them. All right? Love y'all. I hope I can upload this joint, man. I went past 10 minutes. I normally don't do that, because I don't know if I can upload it when I do that. All right? And I'm working on getting everything right with this website and with orders, because, you know, with that pandemic thing, everything slowed down. Books went out of stock, and people was ordering like crazy. It's beautiful. People is reading again. Please tag me when you get your books. We shipping them out daily, but, you know, with everything the way it is, I got to make my apologies if anybody didn't have the best experience, because I'm learning, too, how to deal with volume and, you know, lots. I'm learning, too, just as you learning. And so this should give me anxiety, too, to have people having bad experience with anything I try to provide. So if you didn't get your books, your tracking number, anything, just you can hit me up. I will facilitate the process by making sure that you get right. Because ain't no way I've been doing this shit for as long as I've been doing, and I don't make sure people get what they supposed to get. I'm not trying to leave, you know what I mean? Now, they say the best way to leave everybody unsatisfied, try to satisfy everybody. But I ain't trying to satisfy everybody. I'm just trying to satisfy you. People that actually rock with what I'm doing and striving to do something for the people themselves. Love y'all. Peace.